Hello everyone and welcome to the DuQuoin Heats for this race weekend. We're here for the first ever Dirt Truck Series event. We're at the DuQuoin Fairgrounds for it. Jose Perez, Austin Johnson, Matt Sladek, Larry Hagan, Aiden Smith, Daniel Kobza, Anderson Reed, Cordell Smith, Logan Cloud in the 32 for Simtech, Kyle Corbett in the 11, and Zachary Fitzwater in the 59 are in heat number 1. We had single car qualifying. That set the lineups for the heats. Jose Perez fastest out of the 44 entries for the weekend. The heats will work like this. It's 8 laps. The 30 drivers that are locked in on owner's points are locked into the show like normal. The remaining 14 drivers have to get the highest finishing they can in their heat to try to get in. The top 10 highest finishers from all 4 heats in terms of where they finish in their heat will be in the show. Meaning if you finish 11th and you're a go or go home driver, you're going home for sure. This will set the pole position if Jose Perez can win it. Can Johnson or Sladek get him? Coming down the front straightaway at 8 laps for the DuQuoin heat number 1. We're racing at the DuQuoin Fairgrounds. Jose Perez going to lead the field coming off of turn 1. Matt Sladek already jumping to the inside. Now, the thing about this track, it's dirt racing, and especially in very heavy stock trucks, it's going to be hard, to make passes, get these cars running around, and get them rotating through the dirt. And we'll see some great action here, but for the most part, we've seen the outside line, especially in the DPDS races. The outside line is where you want to be, but you can make some dives there. See Hagan, he went top to bottom trying to get a move done, but the outside is where you're probably going to want to be to maintain your position. It's real hard to pass once you start getting strung out like that. Looking further back, there's Daniel Kobza. He is a 2-time Chili Bowl champion, but that's on a very small track in the middle of an arena or a stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So Daniel Kobza, he's a great dirt racer. So is Anderson Reed, a couple spots back, but we'll see. Kobza was only 21st quickest in qualifying for this 44 truck. He right now sits in the 5th position as we run around this track. And as we're looking at it, Kyle Corbett would be the first driver confirmed to be out of it if he maintains that 11th position and doesn't pick up spots. But he also has 4 open trucks right in front of him. There are 5 trucks in this heat alone that are go or go homers, and they're the bottom 5 right now. Cordell Smith, Logan Cloud, Anderson Reed, Zachary Fitzwater, Kyle Corbett. So what you're looking at here is Anderson Reed's going to get a bit aggressive there on the inside of Logan Cloud as they go down this front straightaway. Complete lap 4. What you're looking at here is 4 drivers go home, so the highest finishing driver out of these 4 is locked in, and the lowest finishing driver out of these 4 is taken out of the show. So right now you got Cloud, Cordell, Smith. They're fighting for that top spot, trying to make sure they are locked in, but if we're really looking at it, you got a ton of heats left, 3 heats left, and there are a lot of drivers in those that are going to be fighting some very strong drivers in those fights, so we'll see how it will be. Now looking up a bit further up, Daniel Kobza trying to make a move on Matt Sladek. Sladek, more of a road course guy than Daniel Kobza as the dirt racer. But as they come through the corner, we'll see what Kobza can do on that inside line, trying to make something work. You're going to have to slide up and make sure it works because the outside can work to really maintain your position. You could take him on the inside, though, and that's what Kobza did right there. And put Daniel Kobza up to the 4th position as Logan Cloud now fights after Cordell Smith, trying to take that spot away with Anderson Reed right there. And as we said, the battle between these two right now is for who could be locked into the show. And right now, Kyle Corbett at the back trying to catch up to Zachary Fitzwater. That's the battle for who could be knocked out. But still, what you're seeing is if you finish 10th or 9th, you still could be out depending on how well those guys run in the later heats today. Jose Perez out in front. Austin Johnson running it real low in that 77, trying to get a slide job coming up, and comes right up to the back of that 35 now. A lot of these guys haven't done dirt racing or haven't really done a lot of it in their careers. A few guys in the field are dirt specialists. They love going out on the weekends they're off and running at some big tracks. And, of course, you got a lot of these guys that run the Chili Bowl. But some guys like Jose Perez never been on dirt before in that 35 truck, but he did some practicing earlier this week at another dirt event here, which was open to drivers to get their to be allowed to run them. So a handful of drivers went over here to one of the weekly races and ran, I believe, some dirt modifieds out here on this track. But Jose Perez right now, we're coming to the white flag. As we said, Perez is trying to hang on over Austin Johnson, and this battle right here is for the pole position of the heat, as the heats still set you for the starting position, just like it does at Homestead. And as we might make it through the final corner, Jose Perez trying to hang on over Austin Johnson. Johnson's going to go low one last time, trying to drive it up in there, and it is not going to happen. Jose Perez will hang on all 8 laps, wins heat number 1. Austin Johnson second. Hagan and Cobbs a third and fourth. Sladek, Aiden Smith. Cloud is going to lock himself in. And Kyle Corbett in the 11 truck for Arklatex Motorsports will be the first one for sure going home. Because with 4 heats, you can't finish worse than 11th with 44 trucks, meaning you won't finish ahead of 4 drivers. Kyle Corbett will be out of the show. That puts Zachary Fitzwater, Anderson Reed, and Cordell Smith sitting on the bubble, with Logan Cloud locked into the show for that Simtech Racing Incorporated 32. Fantastic drive there. We'll go ahead, get ready, rack them back up for heat number 2 coming up in just a moment. Coming around here for heat number 2, Vince Freeze, Antoine Smith front row, Riley Spurley, Brian Butcher, Max Anderson in the debut for RER this season, and Roger Ray, Irving Allison in his debut for SBR this season, and Jesse Turner. Colton Lane, Dusty Neal, Mike Cook, those 2 at the back are the 2 that are fighting for these spots. If they finish above 11th, that's really what they're looking for today. On a beautiful 4th of July weekend, we want to point out with those patriotic schemes, but green flag is in the air, and we're racing heat number 2 with DuQuoin as Spurley might have just got into the back of Freeze. Spurley going for the top spot. Antoine Smith on the outside. As they come through turn 1, Antoine's going to fall back just a little bit, but here comes Spurley now in the 28 up into second. He's going to clear him and set his sights on the race leader, Vince Freeze. Roger Ray way up the track. Mike Cook, look at that 81 back there, making some moves past Jesse Turner, past Roger Ray, or at least trying to, and Dusty Neal sits 11th. If a driver that's locked in sits 11th, he'll probably start in the final 4 spots of the field for finishing at the back, but Turner right now in that 47 could be showing signs of a weak race as Spurley up the inside of Freeze. Made some contact there, I think. They're going to head down into turn 1, and Riley Spurley is going to take the lead away from Freeze. Now Antoine Smith in that 00 is there right on the back of him. They're going to look for that second position possibly on Vince Freeze as Spurley pulls away. 3-8 now as we get back onto this third lap of the race. Looking at these top 3, nose to tail as Antoine runs just a little lower, trying to get maybe something there as he's going to muscle his way past Vince Freeze and clears the number 60 coming off of the corner. And that will be big for Antoine's day as he now gets to set his sights back on race leader Riley Spurley. Freeze, though, back to the bottom. We'll see if that 60 car or 60 truck can make anything work. He gets a decent exit off the corner, going to stay side by side with Antoine. And we'll see if he can get that dive down into turn 1 and try to make that move. Got in there real heavy. Looked like he had to slam on the brakes because the rear end came out from behind him, and he's going to just have to tuck back in behind Antoine there as they come rushing off the corner. Max Anderson, Irving Allison round out your top 5. There's Roger Ray now fighting Colton Lane as they go. I believe that's for the 7th position on track between the MBM and KGM trucks as Roger's going to try to clear the 27. Ray's done very well in the 90 truck in the past. We saw about 2 years ago he was running top 10 in races with it. Last year he ran decently. This year he's running decently. Well, last year he was in the Andrade truck, but he still ran decently in the truck series. And this year he's been running all right in the 90. It's keeping it clean as much as he can, but Colton Lane getting right up on the back of him. There's Cook and Dusty Neal. Neal sitting as the last driver on the grid right now, meaning, as we said, he would lock himself out of the show and join Kyle Corbett with being out of the races. It looked like Freeze went real wide there. We're going to keep an eye on this battle, though, between Lane and Roger Ray. But what you're looking at, there's 2 drivers in this heat as Ray goes wide. If they finish 11th, we'll have 1 locked out. But right now, at least, you're going to lock in 1 driver, depending on where you finish in this one. Currently, Cordell Smith would be locking in that 67 truck. Finishing there as Antoine's coming back after Spurley 6 of 8 complete. Here comes Antoine Smith on the back of that Sauber Racing 28. Antoine got his first career win this season at Michigan in the red, white, and blue truck. there. And Riley Spurleytube, he has no wins in the Truck Series so far this year. In that 28 truck. He won a couple races last season, but not for Sauber. He's trying to get that first win of the season. Of course, the heats do not count as a first win, but he could start this race as this is Heat 2. He could start at second on the outside of the front row and have a great shot at possibly winning this thing. White flag is in the air for Riley Spurleytube as he tries to hang on over Antoine, and Antoine's throwing it in as much as he can, trying anywhere he can go, but I don't think he's going to get there. I think he's just too far back now. And down the back straightaway, going to the wide-angle shot here. You see all the way back there. Neal has passed Mike Cook, but I think Cook's coming back for him there. But Spurleytube out in front, Antoine Smith in second. Antoine's going to try one last shot at it. Not going to work. And Riley Spurleytube is going to pick up heat number 2 over Antoine Smith, Vince Freeze, Max Anderson, and Irving Allison. Roger Ray loses the battle to Lane, and Dusty Neal puts himself in for now as Mike Cook finishes 11th, and the LEI 81 will DNQ for yet another race weekend, joining Kyle Corbett. And with that finish, Cordell Smith will lock that 67 into the show, I believe, along with Anderson Reed in the 63, with Dusty Neal only managing 10th. So now that will put Dusty Neal and Zachary Fitzwater on the bubble. And Mike Cook will join Kyle Corbett out of the show. But Riley Spurleytube picks up heat number 2, the race victory. Great battle in heat number 2 leads us into heat number 3. Eric Monaco, Eli Bright, your front row. A beautiful Canadian scheme for the 46 of Alex Fletcher. Alongside him, Priya McShane. Christian Vargas and Nicky Morris, row 3. Peter Onjak, Ethan Head, row 4. Sebastian Kugelon and Gemini Racing's debut, the number 75, will be running, I think, 6 races this season. Alongside him, Zachary Bilson. And you got the 78 of Cody Goforth at the tail end of this one. 3 trucks racing to make their way in. That's Cody Goforth, Sebastian Kugelon, and Nicky Morris. Nicky, the highest running go or go home driver of the race weekend so far, already up in 6th. I think Cordell Smith finished 6th, but basically Cordell didn't really qualify too good either. But we're coming down this front straightaway. Another 8 laps, 11 drivers, same format, green flags in the air. Let's see if anyone can stop the front row driver, Eric Monaco, as his teammate Alex Fletcher shoves him through. Vargas is going to drop back, but we're green here at DuQuoin. Bum rush off the corner. They were 4 wide with now Kugelon and Goforth jumping right past the 7 and Nicky Morris. And already at the back is Zachary Bilson in the L1. This could really save, well, maybe not save a couple people, but this is not looking good for Nicky, who's already dropped back as Goforth, your most recent Cup Series winner at Memphis about a week or 2 back. He is already moving that 78 truck big time up in the field as he's already in to the 7th position now as Vargas is really starting to feel some pressure on that 08. It's dropping back like a rock. But now you got Nicky Morris on the inside of Kugelon, and this could really be the battle for that final transfer spot, because if they don't finish 11th, if the 75, 7, or 78 don't finish 11th, then someone who finishes 10th will be out. And Kugelon has no owner's points to speak of for the Gemini Racing truck, so they have to race their way in for the Lil Yachty's Hot Fries truck. As Eli Bright, he's dropped back to 6th, and Cody Goforth is already up to 5th in that 78 truck. He is moving that BGM equipment as fast as it can go. And that's an R&D truck, too. Don't forget, he's up into 5th, racing his life right now in that 78 as Bright fights behind him. Peter Onjak up to 4th already. He's another dirt racer. I don't know if he's ran the Chili Bowl per se, but he's done a lot of dirt events in his home state over the offseason, loves dirt racing, and happy that he finally has a platform and the money to go do it full-time when he wants to with his Trucking Cup Series ride. So he's doing a great job right now, up to 4th after starting this 7th. Had a pretty poor qualifying run for Onjak there. Look at Priya McShane holding her own up there in that 3rd position, looking very well for RER. Fletcher in 2nd, but it's all Monaco out in front as we got a battle now between Eli Bright and Cody Goforth for that 5th position. Christian Vargas sitting back there in the 7th spot. Nicky Morris now has got by both Ethan Head and Kugelon, but as we're sitting here, remember, The 59 and 96 are currently your bubble drivers. They both finished in the 10th position. Meaning, as they run, if the 89 and 01 finish behind them, if the 75 and 7 race their way in, finish 9th or better, all three of them will lock into the show as they run, and we'll see what that'll mean for that final event as we got a battle up front. Onjak all over the back. Might have gotten a piece of McShane there in that 97 as he is chasing down McShane right into the back of her again, trying to get past this number 2 as they work their way through 1 and 2, coming to 3 laps to go now. And I think this heat racing, I don't know if this is going to be indicative of how the actual race goes, the main event goes or not, but probably for most of these guys up front, they're not trying to make too many big moves. You don't want to tear up your car too early here. But they are all running. Look at that, 3 wide, running every line possible. Onjak swings to the inside. McShane's going to get a nose to the inside of Fletcher as Eric Monaco has now pulled away in that 4 truck to about 1.5 seconds. Onjak's going to have that outside line. We'll see what this 97 can do if he could power off of the corner as McShane continues to hang on to the inside of Fletcher side by side for second as they come down the back, coming to the white flag. Monaco, you see just at the edge of your screen, he is gone. Onjak looked like he was about to send it in as they are now 3 wide possibly for that second position coming off the corner. This is the race and the fans wanted to see. Fletcher on the outside, McShane on the inside, but Onjak all the way to the bottom, trying a slide job. White flag is in the air here at DuQuoin. Side by side, 3 wide for second. Fletcher's out of there now. Onjak's trying to pick up that spot on McShane. Coming down the back straightaway, here they go. Onjak's going to clear McShane. Looking at the back of the pack, Nicky Morris is up there. Heads trying to get by Kukulon. Kukulon trying to hang on, but it looks like Goforth and Nicky will for sure be in. It's all Eric Monaco out in front leading this to the line, and that's what it's going to be. Eric Monaco, a dominant performance, wins Heat 3. Onjak, McShane, Fletcher, and Goforth, your top 5, and that right there will seal it. Sebastian Kukulon, Nicky Morris, Cody Goforth all in the show. Kukulon ends up finishing 9th, which now puts Dusty Neal in a very concerning spot in the 96. As right now, he sits 10th. Fitzwater is also in a very worrying spot. Those two are still possible to be DNQing in this event. And we'll get an update on that as we get ready for heat number 4. But Peter Onjak came up second. Eric Monaco was his driver. Monaco takes home heat number 3. Sun has come out for this final heat today. Matthew Eves and Stephen Wallace Jr. your front row. Alex Peters, the Road America winner, and Gatlin Downey row 2. Patrick Smith, Zach Rogers row 3. Matthew Brown and Logan Bradley row 4. Preston Emmons, Mac Johnson row 5, and Maxwell Fay row 6. 16, 71, 07, and 22 have to race their way in. Maxwell Fay needs 9th or better, cannot fall back on owner's points. The 16, he can finish 10th or better. The 16 and 71 both have more points than the 59 and 96, meaning a 10th or better gets them in the show. As well, the 07 needs a 9th or better because he could lose in owner's points to the 59. Coming down the front straightaway, green flags in the air. We're racing once again at DuQuoin. It really looks like starting on the outside is pretty poor. Stephen Wallace Jr. lost a ton of time there. Eli Bright also lost a ton of time in heat number 1. But Alex Peters is going to be the one hunting down Matthew Eves now for that top spot. Patrick Smith clear into 3rd. Wallace Jr. 4th. Battle for 5th between Brown and Downey as Peters going to slide up. Might have been some contact there with Eves. And Gatlin Downey lost a ton of time. There's Matthew Brown, and there is Maxwell Fay doing what he needs to do in that 22. And Logan Bradley gets into the back of him, spins him into the wall. Bradley slides up as well, and caution is out for the first time in the heats. And that is just how the cookie crumbles for the 22 truck. The top 5 are going to pull away there. And Logan Bradley just went up and sent the 22 around. Maxwell Fay, these guys are going to come back to the caution. They're going to probably rack him up real quick, so we'll get a quick replay. But Maxwell Fay taken out immediately by Logan Bradley, just as we were about to say he's doing a good job. NSDCA is trying to take off as little laps in the heats as possible, so we're going back racing with just one pace lap under us. Matthew Eves leads, Alex Peters second, Patrick Smith third, Stephen Walsh Jr. fourth, Matthew Brown fifth, Downey sixth, Mac Johnson seventh, Emmons eighth, Rogers ninth, Bradley 10th, Fay 11th. Currently, as they stand, it's the 22 and 96 out of the show, with Dusty Neal having the lowest owner's points out of everyone left to race their way in, except for Maxwell Fay. He would lose the 10th position battle to Zachary Fitzwater. As it stands, of course, Mac Johnson, Preston Emmons, Matthew Brown, all in the show as they run. We're going to have 4 more laps to do it, and we'll see what restarts look like with the single file. This will be the first time we've seen a single file restart on dirt. This could play big for the main event, but it's Eves, Peters, Patrick Smith, Stephen Wallace Jr., Matthew Brown, your top 5. Green flags back in the air, racing again at DuQuoin. Looks like everyone's going to stay single file there, just trying to maybe just get themselves running normally, as Emmons is going to clear Mac Johnson. Now, the other thing, of course, by finishing position, you'd get it, but as they stand right now, if you finish ahead of 2 more trucks, you would be locked into the show of the go or go home drivers. That means Matthew Brown, Preston Emmons would definitely be locked in. But now Mac Johnson's starting to slip back, and he has less owner's points than the 59, but not less than the 96, so it'll depend on that 22. If Mac does indeed finish 10th, that'll depend on the 22 possibly for winning this. I think the only way the 96 makes it into the field now is if the 22 finishes 10th and the 07 finishes 11th. So Dusty Neal's a big Maxwell Fay fan right now, as Alex Peters is all over the back of Eves, and we'll see that 48 truck's big, strong, and big fast with that big man Matthew Eves in there. We'll see what this 48 can do at the end, and he might be one of the fan favorites to win it. Perez had a great run in heat number 1, but Eves' car is one of the fastest ones, and with no pit stops this weekend, there's no live pit stops with the dirt races, so they fill him up just enough to get him to the end of the race. It's going to be basically all-out pace for 50 laps and trying to survive this dirt race, as Alex Peters trying to get that run there. Patrick Smith clear into 3rd, Stephen Walsh Jr. 4th, Downey 5th. Matthew Brown's in 6th, Rogers 7th, and 1 truck into the wall. That's Logan Bradley. The 57 slips up and out of there, and that is going to probably lock the 07 in and knock the 22 out unless he can get Johnson here at the end. Patrick Smith into Alex Peters. If these guys wreck, they could lose spots and the 22 would be in, but coming around to the final time through, Matthew Eves out in front, ripping the lip in that 48. And he's going to come off of turn 4. He will be starting 4th in the main event. Matthew Eves down the front straightaway will win heat number 4 over Alex Peters, Patrick Smith, Stephen Wallace Jr., Gatlin Downey, and across the line, Logan Bradley slipped up. That locks Mac Johnson in with a 9th place finish. Preston Emmons also in. Matthew Brown in. Maxwell Fay and Dusty Neal should be the 2 joining Mike Cook and Kyle Corbett, missing the show, missing the DuQuoin race. And Maxwell Fay, you gotta feel for him, was running so well. Logan Bradley got into him, and then Logan just screwed up on that last corner and just hit the wall. Zach Rogers spins himself onto the front straightaway. Might have been some feelings there, but that's the end of that race. All 4 heats done. We'll join you guys again for the main event later tonight. Hope to see you guys there. 40 drivers for 50 laps around the DuQuoin Speedway. The first dirt race of the season kicking off soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time on the NSDCA.